Hey everyone, it's Kyle from Kool Collectibles. I finally got a set in that I've been waiting for a very long time, and it's the Voltron 30th anniversary collector set, which is pretty much the same mold as I think the 25th anniversary masterpiece figure, this time with supposedly diecast components and some better quality, but we'll get to that in a second. So just give you guys a quick look at the packaging. As soon as I saw this was coming up this year, I just had to have it. I had the Miracle Productions Vehicle Voltron last year, and that's a great piece as well, and that was delayed for more than a year, I think, before that came out. And there were a few delays on this one as well, so I'm definitely glad it finally came out. It's been out in Asia, I think, for at least a month, but Big Bad Toy Store finally got their stock in. So once it came in, I shipped my pile of loot. So that's just the front cover of the box there. I think there's a bit more artwork on the side and some other artwork on the other side. So what do they say? It features light up eyes, weapons display base, and the usual. And once you open the case, it's very similar to the way the Miracle Productions was laid out, with this overlay, and you can see the components within. So you lift it up and everything is in the foam. So there's two layers, and that bottom layer there is for the base. So I've taken everything else out and set it up over here. Oh, and you do get a pretty good instruction book, actually, much better than the Miracle Productions one. So you get the bit of a summary of the story and the characters and all the components and how to do all the transformations and the combining and so on. So it's pretty comprehensive and self-explanatory, and much better than the Miracle Productions version, which was I don't know, like a piece of paper really. So that's pretty good. And there they are. They don't come like that straight out of the box. Out of the box they come all folded up, pretty much ready for combining into Voltron. But I've set it up like this, and I'll go through each one in just a bit, in closer detail, and go through all the articulation and how to do the transformation and so on. So just hold on a bit and I'll be back in a sec. Alright, back again. Just to quickly go through the accessories. So you get the stand, which is pretty big, but it is, I guess, fairly cheap plastic. There's nothing really too fantastic about it. All of these grooves are for the weapons that I'll show you in a second, that you pretty much just place in there. So you get all the weapons for the lions, and this is for the key. Now this stand at the back there comes in 4 pieces, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just pan back out. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces that you just join up, and this you can put the sword up the top and just have it sit there like so. And this bit is for the shield, so there's a little hook at the back there that you just place in there. Or you can have Voltron holding the weapons. And here's the key, so I'll just quickly show you that, because this sort of confused me for a bit. This is like a little clasp that I'm not sure what that clasp is for, to be honest. I guess you can clip it to something, and it took me a while to figure out how you could take this apart, but actually this piece comes off, so you sort of just take that apart and bring that down, which leaves this, and you just push them together and there's the key. So what you do is you place it in there and push that across, and it goes through that ignition sequence. The lights do come on, but it's probably a bit bright in here for me to show that. But then it's silent for it's silent for a bit until you hear that the lion roaring. So, and then it just has a few more roars, I think, and that's pretty much it. So I'll just, so you have a few more roars there. So then you just do that and take it off. So that's pretty much it for the base. You do need 3 AA batteries, which I probably won't even bother using. I showed you guys as part of this review, but I'll probably take them out afterwards. Just quickly show you the weapons. So here's the shield. With this being the masterpiece figure, I was hoping that these would actually be metal, but unfortunately they're very light plastic, just chromed up. The chrome is pretty good, not too many blemishes or anything like that, and it is pretty nicely detailed, so I can't complain too much, I guess. Similarly for the sword, I was really hoping that the sword was going to be metal, but it is plastic. But again, the moulding's pretty good, and the chroming isn't too bad either. A few blemishes here and there, but nothing too major. So that's his sword, and you've seen the key. And then you get these 5 weapons that you put on the stand, and they're all pretty nicely detailed and chromed as well, and again they're plastic, unfortunately. So, but they do look pretty good. So you get this one. So you sort of just insert them into the slots on the stand, and they pretty much just stay there, I guess. And the last one. So that's pretty much it. Accessories wise, I'll just pause for a bit and start going through each of the lines. Be back in a bit. Alright, back again, and I'll go through each line individually. So let's just start on the small guys. So here's the green line, and the paint app is pretty good. I really like the solid metallic green here. It's unfortunate that the head is plastic. All the heads are plastic on the lines, and so the paint app isn't consistent with the body, which is a shame. But articulation, you can open the mouth, rotate the head, and since these are the arms, they can bend at this ratchet joint there, and they can also rotate on either end of the joint there. They are pretty tight, so just be careful. The chroming is uniformly pretty good, but one thing I noticed, now all of these legs are on little ratchet joints that you can hear there, but all of them seem to have this effect where they sort of bend in. Now I'm not sure if that's by design, just so that it sort of fits in as you fold them up. It fits in closer to the body, but just some of them, I guess you sort of have to hold it out, and it doesn't feel as strong, whereas quality, I guess, is it doesn't feel high end. Once you guys get it in hand, you might feel that all of the legs, the body itself is die-cast, but all of the legs and the head are plastic. So these are just chromed plastic. The joints are all fairly tight, on this one at least. It's a shame that all of these screws here aren't chromed. I guess it sort of throws off the look a little bit. But other than that, the green line's pretty good, number 3. So similarly for the red line, same articulation. The ratchet joints again sort of have that effect, which, I don't know, it just doesn't scream quality to me. It feels very flimsy, like when you just feel like you need to really hold it close to where the ratchet is to turn it, and they sort of just have this sort of flimsy feel to it. so I'm not sure if that's just mine or if that's just by design. But overall, again, the paint app is pretty good. There's no sort of metallic effect on this one. But yeah, these two parts here are the die-cast parts. I'm not sure if this joint in the middle is die-cast. Feels pretty solid, so it could be. But the legs and the head and the tail and so on are definitely not. So on to the bigger ones. The legs, here's the blue line. So again, the head is plastic. Nice painted detail there. So a big joint here for the leg, that you or the foot that you can fold, and these legs again are on a ratchet joint. Now these ones are also, even the bigger ones, have that sort of lean-in effect on that particular. It might be a ball joint there, so maybe that is by design, but it just feels quite flimsy on that joint, even though it's a ratchet joint. The plasticky feel of the legs sort of gives me a bit of worry about how much they're going to last, particularly the rear ones. The rear ones are very tight, so as you can hear, these are on big ratchets there, so just be careful of that. But it is a big piece of die cast there, painted in metallic blue, which is nice. So overall the paint app on this one's pretty damn good too. And you can sort of articulate the mouth and so on. And similarly for the yellow line, it really is a shame the plastic's not a consistent paint, although this yellow plastic here seems to have a sort of a metallic effect to it, which is strange. So the head's got a bit of a metallic effect, but the body does not, so not sure why they went with that, which is a bit strange. But the articulation again is the same. There's no sort of swivel in the waist or anything. Just watch out again for the ratchets at the back. But again, the chroming's pretty good and the paint app's pretty good, so can't complain too much, although there is a bit of red slop there that I don't think should be there. But I can probably scratch that off. No big deal. And on to the last. So the black line, so there you can see is the Voltron face in there. I'll show you guys that in a bit when we do the transformation. Big ratchet joints at the back, and ratchet joints here as well. Now these legs probably feel the sturdiest of them, but I guess with all of them, I'm just worried about moving these types of joints. They're not ratchet joints, just I guess they're just friction joints, which I guess you might be able to adjust with the screws there, but I just have a worry that you try and move it too much, they'll probably get really loose over time, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But again, this one doesn't really have much of a paint app. Apart from this center bit, most of the black here is just plastic, but that here becomes the main chest, as you can see, and his torso area and the hips. So it's only this center part that is painted. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So I'll go through each one and do the transformation into Voltron. So I'll be back in a second and go through each one. Alright, so we'll start the transformation for the black line, which is pretty straightforward, I guess. These joints here are pulled out, so you pretty much just straighten these out, I think, and rotate those to the back so you form his torso. So we'll leave it at that for now. And the legs here, you pretty much just straighten those legs out, so make sure you hold those ratchet joints tight, and you just fold it out and make sure that's straight, and that is pretty much it for that. Now on the arms, let me just pan up a little bit. On the arms here, they've got these panels here, so you just lift up the panels and you flip that up, and you pretty much just fold it in. If you can see that, not sure why that's not going in. Hold on a second. I always have problems doing these things on camera. There is a, if you can see in there, there is like a little slot in there that you can push it in. So I'll try and get that in there. But that doesn't seem to want to go in, so just give me a second, hold on. Alright, so I managed to get one side in off camera, and I'll show you what needs to be done. So you bend the foot like that, and as you can see, the feet, the claws have this groove, and they fit into a groove that's just under this tab. So you push it in and it fits onto the tab, and you push it in and it gradually folds in like that. Okay, so that's how you do that part. The next part, I think, is you just push in the shoulders. So you just hear that click there, so you push those in and lock those in place so you don't see any gaps. And then you pretty much fold the head down. So when you get it out of the box, you'll see a little plastic tab that pretty much cuts off the battery connection, and they do say to keep that just in case you want to save it in save the battery in robot mode, in Voltron mode, because once you sort of have him with his face down, as you can see like so, the eyes come on straight away. So if you want to save batteries, you can put that tab on and he won't light up his eyes. And there you have it, and then you just fold out the ears like so, which don't sit too straight, so that's not too bad, I guess. And I think that's pretty much it for the black line. Alright, so I'll get onto the others now, just hold on a sec. Alright, onto the red line, and the transformation is pretty simple. You just fold up these rear legs and ratchet them up and fold them away. Same on the other side. The joints, again, they don't feel the strongest kind of joints around, so I'd be pretty careful. And I guess they do have that fold in effect to make them fold in nice and tight to the body. And similarly for the legs here, you just ratchet them up, fold those down, and like that. And that's pretty much, and push the tail back in, which I had a bit of trouble doing before, and I'm having trouble doing again on camera. It always happens to me. I guess with this one, pulling it in and out does start scratching that plastic there, so be careful with that. And I can't seem to get that tail in, so I'll try and do it off camera again. Sorry. Well, it didn't look like it was that hard. You just sort of need to get the right angle and push it in, and I think that is as far as it goes. So that's pretty much the arm done. Similarly for the green, let's just push the tail in, and I think you just fold those the same way. So again, just ratchet them up. Just be careful of any paint rub, I guess. With these types of figures, the paint on the green one here is probably my favourite, with its metallic green, and the metallic blue on the blue one is pretty nice too. Just fold those down, and I think that is it for the green. Let me just double check. Yep. That looks like it. So, on to the big ones. You pretty much, what do you do here? Let's move. So you rotate that joint up so it forms the leg, and these you just sort of ratchet up and back around like that. I'm not sure how far that's meant to go, probably up to there, like so, and then just ratchet that up until it gets to that point, like so. And the rear legs you pretty much rotate all the way down, and this joint doesn't feel too stable, to be honest. So have it like that. Similarly on this side. And I think that's as close as you can get it. I'm just worried about paint rub right there. But I think that is pretty much it for that leg. And again, you push the tail in. Alright, similarly for the yellow, let's push the tail in first, rotate the head up, and that one felt a little loose, but seems to hold fairly well. Same thing I guess for this one, I think. Where does that go? Yep. So I guess that's as far as it's going to go. Same for this one. So rotate that, and then this one here, you just rotate that round. Oh God, those rear joints scare the crap out of me. And then just fold that back like so, and down. And this one seems a little looser. That should do it, I think, for that leg. So I'll just bring them all back out and start the combination. Alright, one thing I didn't show you with the green and red lines were the extension of these shoulder joints, and I almost broke my friggin' bloody fingernails off trying to get these out, so be very careful with that because they are so tight. So sort of just have to fold those out, and they pretty much lock into place there like that. Okay, and similarly for the green line. Okay, now what you then do, let me just fold those down. So there's his left leg, his right leg, and what you do, now that these are perfectly straight, you pretty much just insert it in until you hear a click, and if you hear that click and you lift it up, and then all you do to disconnect is there's this little tab here, you push it in and you hear that, and you'll be able to take it out. Now I don't know how often that's going to be done to wear away all of this chrome, but once I set him up in Voltron mode, I think that will be it. So I'll just put that back in there, hear that click, and that engages nicely. Similarly for this side, push it down, hear that click, and you're set. So there are his legs, panning up, and his arms on this side, so they just fit into that socket there. I think I haven't actually done this yet. Hold on, let me double check and I'll get back to you guys. Alright, so with a bit of force I was able to get the green side in. So I'll see if I can show you guys. You pretty much just put that knob there and just push it in as hard as you can without breaking anything. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do that on camera. Always happens to me. I'll be back in a second. Alright, so I managed to put them on. Now what I'm worried about, if I just take this off, if you can see the joints here, after you've pushed them on, the legs sort of push right up against the gold of the shoulder joint on the black line there, and if you rotate the arm, I'm just worried about some paint rub happening there, or at least the chrome wearing off. So I'm not sure why that's happening, but that's pretty much as best as I can do it, or see that I'm doing it correctly. So yeah, just be careful of these chrome feet up against that shoulder joint. Just be back in a second. Well, just on that shoulder joint thing, I just looked at the picture on the box. So if you have a look at that, the legs don't actually touch. So I've probably pushed the shoulder joint in too far, because it looks like those chrome bits are effectively flush with the gold and not actually past it. So I'll just show you mine quickly again. So as you can see, I've probably pushed mine too far in, so I'll quickly adjust that and come back to you in a second. Alright, so as you can see there, I've pushed them in into the first notch, so the chrome's not pushing up against there, and you can still get the articulation, so you rotate those joints there without any worry about paint rub, which is good. So when you put the arms on, you can rotate these joints here, so the elbow joint's facing forward, and then rotate the forearms back out again. So that's all cool. The legs, the hip joint sort of naturally splays out like that. You can rotate these in and out for a bit more of a natural look, and the knee joints, using that joint there, folds pretty well as well. And when you pick him up, there's no sort of clanking noise or anything like that, and he does feel quite heavy. So going back to the feet, something I noticed on the feet, on mine you can sort of change the ankle angle, but it pretty much jumps back on this foot, but on this one it's pretty tight and you can sort of get it into any angle you want. So if you're into trying out some more dynamic poses, just be aware of that. And I guess on the reverse, the last thing I did, you pretty much just fold that up and then you fold those out. Just pan out and fold his shoulder blades out, I guess, up to there, and rest them on those like that, and there you have it. Voltron formed after all that trouble. It was probably easier than the Miracle Productions Voltron. I had so much trouble putting that together, it wasn't even funny. But this one wasn't too bad. Now I guess the only minor quibble I've got with the Voltron head is the face mask tends to sit up a bit, so I've pushed it down as far as it goes and it should stay there, I guess. And I'm not sure if you can pick up, I do have the lights on, so if you don't want the lights on, you can pretty much just unscrew that at the back there and take out the batteries. So that's where the battery compartment is, at the back there. And that is pretty much it. I'll put him up on the stand and take a few more photos and so on. So check out the Kool Collectibles website and Facebook page for all the photos that I'll post up. Hope you guys like that, well, hopefully fairly quick and painful look. Yeah, thanks for that, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Thanks, bye. Actually, before I go, I did realise I didn't really go through articulation too well with the Voltron mode. Now the arms move out pretty well, but the waist articulation, you can't really go past this belt, so it swivels pretty much like that. And the legs and hips are probably where I'm most disappointed. With the Miracle Productions Voltron, you can really put him into quite dynamic poses, but the legs pretty much don't go much further than that on mine, and so you can't really have him posing in too many sort of wide-legged stances, holding the sword, ready for attack or anything like that, just like you can with the Miracle Productions. So he's pretty much limited to effectively just standing there like that, which I guess is good for display and on the stand, but it would have been good for some photo opportunities to have a few more dynamic poses. But that's pretty much it. So yeah, hope you guys liked that quick look again, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Thanks, bye.